Welcome into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. This is a different episode today. It's a format I've had kicking around in my head for quite some time. And I guess it sort of comes from the idea of whenever I've got somebody new-ish on or I'm interviewing somebody in the Dragon Ball space, I have these sets of questions that I ask them. Generally, like, what's your favorite series? What's your favorite villain? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite character? Or whatever. What I always ask is, what is your favorite opening song? And of those sets of opening songs, I kind of always exclude the Dragon Ball Z Kai theme songs. So that's a mistake. People sometimes like those, I guess. But the opening theme songs that I'm talking about here are the first original Dragon Ball theme song, Makafushigi Adventure, Head Shala from Dragon Ball Z, We Got a Power from Dragon Ball Z, Dan Dan from Dragon Ball GT, even though it's not canon, and then the two from Dragon Ball Super, those two openings, Chaozetsu Dynamic, and the opening to this show, Limit Break X Survivor. Those are like the, what is that, six songs I'm usually thinking people will pick from. And I feel like each of those songs is iconic and just ties to different parts of Dragon Ball in so many different interesting ways that I kind of want to, slow down and appreciate these pieces of music and not just have these be, answers to a question I'll ask new guests in order. So I think I want to try to do all these opening songs, and it makes sense to start with the first of them, right? Makafushigi Adventure, as sung by Hiroki Takahashi. Obviously, you knew that. So I want to start with these songs. It's always weird doing episodes like this where I'm using other people's music. I mean, I do it all the time, right? But like the whole episode is going to be like this. So I got to be like, selective with some snippets that I play. But honestly, the original song is probably the one you're going to be the most familiar with today. There's certain versions of this song that I just find fascinating that I want to share with you briefly, talk about a little bit, and we'll just appreciate the song that is Makafushigi Adventure. Might be a long episode, might be a short episode. We'll see how this goes. I'm really not sure how this is going to go. But you know it, I know it, we all love it. Don't we, folks? Here it is. Maybe that's how I get away with it. I sing some shit. Watch some Dragon Ball. Fucking Adventure. So Makafushigi Adventure, the first opening song for Dragon Ball, the OG series. I don't know. I feel like I always go with Chala Head Chala in terms of the most iconic Dragon Ball song. Like when you hear the melody of that song, like you just know. It's the same thing for Makafushigi Adventure, obviously. Like when you hear that dun 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 dun, you know exactly what it is. It's the definition of an iconic song. Like when you think of a piece of media and you think of the music that comes with it, this is immediately what your brain jumps to. Especially me, like I think of music all the time. One of my favorite things about Dragon Ball that I don't get to talk about super often on the show. I mean, we've done certain episodes that are, dedicated to it. Like we've had Napoleon the Legend on, who made the Dragon Ball G album. We've had Mark Cooper on, who had Super Saiyan. When Shinsuke Kikuchi passed, I had Napoleon back on to just talk about, some compositions that Shinsuke did for Dragon Ball and other animes too throughout his career, like his 50-year career or whatever it was. Music is very important to me for a million reasons. And I don't know, like it comes out in Dragon Ball for me. Like I know songs from Dragon Ball games that I've never played. I know songs from Dragon Ball movies where I'm like, shit, which movie was this again? I know all the words to the song though, somehow, and poorly, enunciated phonetic memorization of my shit Japanese. You know what I mean? Dragon Ball and the music, like it's so much of the aesthetic, you cannot separate them. And that's kind of a theme, I guess, in an episode I'm going to be recording with Rayshawn in a little bit. If all goes according to plan, you probably heard that episode last week and how the aesthetic of Dragon Ball is so important to the way in which I have to, or the way in which I appreciate it. Like basically fanfic stuff isn't for me, you know, or like fan animation stuff isn't for me, if you recall. Dun, 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 dun. Yo, what's up? Get it? Because it's the song that I'm talking about in this episode. Anyway, hey, future Kyle, editing Kyle that has come to you while editing this episode to talk about an episode that I recorded before I recorded the episode about, this is a very convoluted set of circumstances, before I recorded the episode with Rayshawn about, what the fuck's that thing called? Legend, a Dragon Ball tale. Hey, gotta say, I think it's hilarious how many people were, I mean, most of you seem to be entertained by my feelings on the subject, which, good. That exactly, my friends, was the goal. I'll also say when I was recording this episode, I hadn't watched it yet. I'd watched like the first, I don't know, 60 seconds maybe. And I was like, this was kind of silly, but whatever. That's the thing, man. If I did a whole podcast last week where I was just like, yeah, whatever, would that have been a podcast worth you listening to? That's all I'm going to say on the subject. Understand, podcasting is an entertainment medium. And, you know, sometimes people play shit up. And it's hilarious that that doesn't occur to some of you fucking people. I don't really give a fuck about that thing. All right, anyway, back to this cool, positive episode now. Oh, my God. So I say all of that because with this song, Makafushigi Adventure, there's a million different, you know, variations of it that we're going to look at. But before we get to other, like, before we get to like English versions and other versions of it, there are a couple pieces of music that I want to share with you guys from the show, like motifs of Makafushigi Adventure that have been used as background music, and how somehow the same melody can evoke different types of emotion. And I'm sure when you hear these, you're going to have like a scene in your head, maybe not a specific scene, but you can picture what's going on the screen should you had the visual based on just the music alone. Let's listen to the first one and we'll talk about how we feel afterwards, right? It's like, damn, Goku, you fishing? Man, Goku, you fighting up a owl bear? Running through the mountains, singing this song, our adventure. Oh, wow. I've reached my destination. Suddenly the song has ended. Upbeat, same melody, adventurous kind of sound and stuff. I mean, I can just picture Goku running through the mountains of Mount Paozu, I'll say, but even though it's not actually Mount Paozu at that point in the series, we're not going to talk about all that specific stuff. You go watch Mr. Air Fusion's channel, you want some shit like that. That ain't me. But it evokes that emotion of just like upbeat adventure, something good, something crazy, something nefarious could happen. Like the utility of the song, of the melody, and the way in which you can repurpose it for different emotions you're trying to evoke. I mean, yeah, the original TV-sized theme song kicks all of the ass. Give me the lyrics. Give me the cheesy 80s, you know, production of it. Give me that shit, yes. But it's a testament to the melody and how strong the songwriting is that, or yeah, I guess more from the melody, you know, perspective. It's just more of a testament to that and how it can be so many things. And it's like consistent with the aesthetic and the branding overall. I mean, branding's probably not the right word, but it's consistent with the show. Now, exactly same melody, different emotions evoked, completely different set of circumstances. Let's talk through it. Let's see how we feel. Oh man, Son Goku, you just got your ass whooped. We have to walk back to our car now. We're in the desert, probably. I'm sure the desert bandit, we chipped his tooth, but that bitch has a sword. You see his scimitar? Man, the scope of this world is grand. You can tell because we just added in some strings. Jeez. Adventure. Walking through the desert. Walking through the desert. desert. All right, see what I mean? Same exact melody, however, it much different sets of emotions and visuals going on in your head. I don't know what it is. It's probably the fact that I know Yamcha's the desert bandit, right? That's probably what's happening. I just imagine I'm walking through the desert and I just got my ass whooped. Well, maybe not whooped, but like I battled to a draw with Yamcha. And he had that blue floaty little cat Puar all up in my business, laughing about how he was a superior kindergarten student and how my boy Oolong doesn't really know what's up. Now, I know I'm a guy who runs a Dragon Ball podcast, but the fact that I can hear those pieces of music and suddenly my brain is filled with things about Dragon Ball that I don't typically think about with Dragon Ball anymore. Like, it's a part of Dragon Ball way back then, but current day Dragon Ball, what went on through most of Dragon Ball Z, you know, who the fuck cares about Oolong and Puar? Why do I hear a piece of music and immediately want to go watch a scene with them, though? It's iconic, man. So this is the only opening song for Dragon Ball, the first 153 episodes, I believe it is. So that's it. Just this opening theme song. Now, by the time they get to Dragon Ball Z, it's interesting. I talked about it, I believe, in the movie review we did for The Dead Zone. The Dead Zone, I can't remember who I did that with because I'm terrible and it was a long time ago. Was it Jimmy? Yo, editor Kyle here. I checked. It was Jimmy. Was it Rayshawn? Either way, I'm a bad friend. My point is, in that movie, even though it's technically a Dragon Ball Z movie, it's interesting because that movie came out before Dragon Ball Z as a series started. So it's kind of a Dragon Ball movie, but it's after the end of Dragon Ball. It's before Dragon Ball Z. When it first came out, I believe it was just billed as a Dragon Ball movie because the manga was just Dragon Ball. There's no Dragon Ball Z manga in Japan, you know? So the fact that this movie comes out before the series of Dragon Ball Z actually starts on television, it does a couple of things. The first thing it does is it gives Shinsuke Kikuchi, this arena to build out all this big cinematic music in the movies that would then eventually go on to be reused for the television shows. So that's cool. A lot of the music you hear in Dragon Ball Z originally came from a movie that came out probably, 6 to 12 months before that. So that's interesting. However, with no Dragon Ball Z or no previous music or anything, they're borrowing from the previous source material. That source material is the main motif of Dragon Ball, the Makafushigi Adventure riff. Dun 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 dun. Now, there are other characters throughout original Dragon Ball who also have their own very notable theme songs. So, a good example of that later on in the series is when Piccolo Daimao comes through, and he's got one of those iconic songs as well where you hear it and you're like, oh shit, I know this. What's this? You know what it is? I'm not going to play the whole thing, okay? But I wanted you to hear, at least if you weren't familiar with it, I wanted you to hear it a little bit. So one of my favorite, all right, this is the last instrumental piece, right? One of my favorite pieces of music in a Dragon Ball Z movie is from The Dead Zone, when Piccolo and Goku finally team up at the end of the movie to defeat Garlic Jr. Shinsuke Kikuchi does this thing that I'm thinking about it right now. You're going to hear it in a second. Getting goosebumps thinking about it. It's like such a music nerd kind of thing that like you might not notice if you're not paying attention. You're obviously like engaged with what's on the screen at the moment. You're not thinking about the music actively, right? But when you hear it without any kind of visual accompaniment, think about what you're hearing and what it would look like on the screen. And it's literally the mashup of these two motifs in the most beautiful of ways, symbolizing that Goku, dun 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 dun, and Piccolo, dun 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 dun, are teaming up, dude. It's like this. It's so... I don't even have any like snarky commentary. It's such a beautiful piece of music, and it's big and it's cinematic, and and it leaves you on that little, unresolved tension. Oh, what a beautiful piece of music, man. But again, the theme, the motif of Makafushigi Adventure being consistent through all of those, 3.5 years of Dragon Ball television series, it eventually finding its way into being reused into certain parts of Dragon Ball Z. It's, like I said, it's iconic. It speaks to the utility of the song and how you cannot separate it away from what the art is, or it's a big piece of the art. It's a big piece of the aesthetic of the art. I get that. I don't know if Funimation gets it. Yo, what's up? Editor Kyle. Again, this is actually kind of fun. It gives me a thing to do while I edit instead of just listening to my dumbass voice. At least now I get to use my dumbass voice to say more dumbass stuff. Listen, I expect a lot of you to expect me to now take a bit of a right-hand turn and talk about Bruce Falconer and background music and how Funimation botched that whole thing back in the day. I know, such an unpopular opinion amongst these American fanboys, but I made a very specific decision to not talk about that in this episode. Maybe I'll talk about Falconer in the future, but it's not here. Here we go. So I'm going to play you the Funimation version of the song next, the English version of that one. And I don't know, it's sung by a guy named Jimi Tunnell. I think Jimmy's innocent in this case. Free Jimmy, but the production on this, it's buried. The vocals and the lyrics are very buried. They're very muddled. And honestly, man, it's just tough to make out. And I don't love how it sounds. But I think it's from 2001 to 2003 when they re-released OG Dragon Ball. They'd already done the original run of Dragon Ball Z. They did the Funimation dubs with Kid Mark in 95 for those first 13 episodes. They didn't use Makafushigi Adventure. They used their own song. But because we got Makafushigi on the brain, let's listen to this English version Funny used in 2001, 2003. And you tell me if you can hear how muddled my boy Jimi Tunnell is. What? Are you a computer dog? What? Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. So, fantastic journey for your fields, something mystery? The production of this dub or this dub, right? Is that what they call it? The production of this English version of this song is piss poor, bro. Obviously they're trying to fit in too many words into not enough syllable spots, I guess. But also turn that shit up in the mix. Also, don't make it sound like he's singing through a motherfucking Casio keyboard. I'm obviously giving advice to sound music or sound techs, musicians who were in the booth 25 fucking years ago. So who really cares? But my point is, if you prefer this version of the song, you're straight up wrong. I don't care if you prefer English. I don't care if you're a dub kid over a sub kid. That's fine. This version of this song is not good. Not good at all. Even from a localization perspective, it's not very good. Find the Dragon Balls. Look out for them all. You can search around the world with me. Gotta heed the call of magic Dragon Balls. What a great adventure this will be. You can climb on board because the Nimbus doesn't wait. A fantastic journey for your dream. A thrilling mystery. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. Now that I've read them out loud, it's actually not that bad of a translation, it seems. But sung them like a dickhead through a Casio. Ain't nobody got time for that nonsense. It sounds awful. It's buried in the mix. Take that effect off so I can hear. You know what, man? I feel like it makes me mad, right? So there's other English versions of this song that somehow did better, but were made 15 years previous. The first instance of Makafushigi being an English song is from the Harmony Gold dub. It's a lost, not completely lost. It's a rare dub of OG Dragon Ball. I believe it's all 3 movies of Dragon Ball, right? Then they also did dubs on the first 5 episodes of Dragon Ball. And this was back in 1980 freaking 9, same year of my birth. So This is a notable version. The Harmony Gold dub is talked about mainly because they made the choice to change most of the characters' names. Most notably, they changed Goku to Zero. I don't like that. I think the name Zero is cool, but not for Goku. Goku is Goku. And he's going to show you. I have a tough time believing that anyone named Zero is going to be our hero, but I mean, you guys tell me, you be the judge. No, Zero is not our hero. Our hero's name is Goku, and it's stupid that you changed it. What other stupid name changes did you guys make? Goku to Zero. Bulma was changed to Lena. Or Lena? Lena. Say it how you want. Pilaf was changed to Akuli. Turtle was changed to Tortoise. Oolong was changed to Mau Mau. The fuck does that mean? Pokawatha? I don't even remember who the fuck that is. Yamcha was changed to Zedaki. Puar was changed to Squeaker. Aw. Krillin was changed to Bongo. Isn't there a Bongo among Piccolo's henchmen? Lunch was changed to Marilyn. Okay. Oh, dude, I can't leave this out. Karin, the cat, was changed to Whiskers, the Wonder Cat. Man, it is a mystery this dub didn't fucking take off. A Makafushigi mystery. Oh, wait. Makafushigi is mysterious. A mysterious adventure. That's probably what I should have said. Anyway, is there anything else good in this dub? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. Oh, creative use of sound effects throughout the rest of the opening song. That's cool. This could be a movie opening, maybe. I'm not sure where I ripped this from. Blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay. Was that Meowth? Dragon Ball. Cool. Cool. All right. Well, I don't know. Harmony Gold dub, I can kind of see why it didn't take off. I'm being honest. I'll tell you one country that did the opening song for their country right was, and I realize I'm leaving out a lot of shit right now. I'm mostly just doing English versions. My point is they do speak English in the Philippines. The Philippines, they got a funny ass version of this song too, man. Sung by Age of Wonder, who I guess was a child teen pop sensation in the 90s in the Philippines, led by Gino Padilla. Ooh, they re-recorded it. Sounds like big. Oh yeah, that's the kids, man. Did I say this version was awesome? Because, yeah. Yeah, honestly, if I never heard a little kid sing a song again, that'd be fucking fine. Kids bopping this shit. Get out of here, Kids Bop. Philippines Kids Bop. I don't like you. I don't know why I thought I liked that version. I think I was just more entertained that that version existed. You know, like, because I've been working on this episode. I don't know. Like, I started pulling sound for this like almost a month ago, and I've just been not in recording mode. So I guess the luster, the appeal of Philippine Dragon Ball Makafushigi Adventure, I just forgot. Not a good version. Not a good version. So here's the thing, man. I know that this is a show about this song, right, from Makafushigi Adventure. However, Makafushigi Adventure is not my first Dragon Ball song. My first Dragon Ball song is from the OG Dragon Ball. I imagine most people's first Dragon Ball song here in America has got to be, oh shit, do I have to do an episode on this now too? I might have to. I totally should. Fuck, dude. I should. Rock the Dragon. That's the fucking opening song everyone probably first got into Dragon Ball with, which makes all the sense in the world. That song rules. Not a big fan of opening dub songs, or opening songs in dubs, but that song rules. However, my first experience with Dragon Ball, I've talked about it 1,000,000,001 times. Woke up really early when I was like 6 or 7, went downstairs, saw this kid with the monkey tail turning into a monkey, a talking pig, wish for underwear. I was sold. So in that version, done by Funimation, and I think it was released on home video by Kids Mark back then, is a version of a Dragon Ball song that has lived in my heart since I was a child, that I love so goddamn much. It's not Makafushigi Adventure. If you've been around listening to this show, or you've gone back to listen to super early old episodes, I believe there's a version of me and Mike Norm singing this song drunkenly. It's like one of the first things I ever recorded with podcast microphones. No joke, was us just drunkenly singing this song. And I don't know which episode that is, and I don't know where it is. So I'm not going to splice it in right now because I'm not going to look for it. But we are going to listen to the real version of that song, composed by Peter Bering, lyrics by Brian Griffith, not the dog Griffin, Brian Griffith, and sung by the legendary David Steele. You guys ready to have your goddamn mind blown? I hope so. It also comes with a very ominous intro of what this show is, and then the music happens, so be ready.
Long ago, 7 Dragon Balls were forged and scattered over the face of the planet. Once united, the Eternal Dragon will be called forth to grant the discoverer a single wish.
Aw, shit. Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. All you gotta do to have your wish come true. Get that Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball. The greatest test of all is to find that 7th ball. Danger all around you, feelings everywhere. Evil lives around you, keep on searching everywhere. Goku, he's gonna show you. He's gonna help you find the way. He and his friends are gonna save the day. Dragon Ball, there's always people lurking when the dragon calls. You won't believe the magic in the 7 balls. Everybody's searching for the Dragon Ball. That's right. All I could do in that version of this song was just sing along. I don't know how much I just kept in there. Maybe all of it. If I did, you are very welcome. No, you don't owe me any money. However, you should sign up at patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. You could have gotten this episode like a week early. You silly goose. Anyway, that song means something big to me, okay? It's one of my earliest Dragon Ball memories. Every single time I hear it, it still, gets me good, man. It pumps me up. I also came across another version, which I apparently didn't cut it for this show, but that's my bad. I found another version that they actually do that kick-ass song, but instead of Goku, he's going to show you, they decided they were going to try it first in 94 when they were doing like test episodes, that they were going to keep the branding or some of the name changes that the Harmony Gold dub made back in 1989. So that line actually reads, and I said something about it earlier, which I'm kind of mad I didn't leave it in here now, but whatever. Instead of Goku, he's going to show you, it was Zero. He is our hero. He in it. Bah, bah, bah. And I was like, that fits better. That was a Rayshawn sound just then. Like I said, that song's not Makafushigi Adventure. That's find that Dragon Ball, get the dragon. I don't even care what it's called. It's that song that rules and gets me pumped up. What I did come across in, this is genuinely new to me, although I guess it's been around for well over a decade, maybe 15 years. There is a version of this song sung in English by the original vocalist of the song, Hiroki Takahashi. And the instrumentation is updated. It's much funkier. It's a cool, different version of the song, I gotta say. But I don't know, man. Like, I imagine if I was over trying to do some karaoke in Japan and singing Japanese songs, I'd fucking sound foolish. This guy sounds pretty good. Like, I don't understand why. And it's something I talk about with Dragon Ball specifically all the time, and this kind of speaks to it. Why do we always got to have English versions of these motherfucking songs? It's 2022 now. Just use the Japanese ones. We don't care. I don't care. Well, yeah, you're right. I don't care. That means everyone else fucking cares because Kentucky and Louisiana and shit. Bet Kentucky people love me. Anyway, this is a version sung by Hiroki Takahashi in English, and it's got this really cool funk instrumentation. So take a listen. Hell yeah, dude. Look for a spark and take it in your hands. That's what's up. I mean, that's as good as the Funimation one they used in 2001. And honestly, some of those horn flares and like those little extra bass notes in there, I like it. Makes it funky. Funky in a good way. So, I don't know. I guess like I wanted to bring it back to... So we're doing... What the fuck is this show again? We're doing different versions of Makafushigi Adventure, right? So that English version sung by Hiroki Takahashi, it's cool. It's interesting. Sung by a Japanese band in English, whatever. I mean, I heard the word Dragon Ball a lot. That was cool. There is one version of this song that if you are a patron, hell, even if you've heard really old episodes of Super Dope where we did some original Dragon Ball episodes, I believe there are some public ones of that. You might know this version of the song. It's done by a band named Animetal. When I was, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11, whenever the fuck I was first getting into downloading things on Napster, my dad found this crazy Japanese metal band, this like speed thrash kind of metal band. And like not current day speed thrash shit, like power metal, late 80s, early 90s shit. So more in the vein of metal stuff I listen to, like Iron Maiden or Queensryche or Priest or Halloween. These motherfuckers got crazy Halloween Gamma Ray vibes. If you guys know Kai Hansen as a guitar player, that's my boy. So we found this thing called Animetal Marathon. And it turns out it's just this cover band who only does anime opening songs in a very metal fashion that I just described. And they basically play an entire album of material, like 40, 45 minutes of songs, all straight through, back to back to back to back to back. They like kind of like string the songs together by using like heavy metal riffs that you would know from a song. Like I know one of them is they use the riff for Crazy Train to like lead into another song in between songs. One of them, they have a drum and bass break, like it's Iron Maiden's Running Free. I got another Animetal song on my playlist right now where like the intro of it is very clearly Breaking the Law by Judas Priest. So lots of cool shit like that. So being like a young metalhead learning guitar when I was a kid, like 12, 13, 14 years old, I actually learned some of these songs at my guitar lessons. I never learned this Makafushigi Adventure version though. I wish I had, but I did learn like the Star Blazers Yamato theme song. I don't even watch that show really. I got a few episodes on DVD, but again, it speaks to music lives in my brain. But Animetal doing the song, I think, is probably the greatest version of it. If you've never heard it before, I mean, we've used it as the opening theme song for OGDB on the Patreon. You want to support us, go sign up, but I'm going to show you the song anyway. You ready? Ready. This is my favorite version of Makafushigi Adventure. Hands down, lots of harmonized guitars. Harmonized guitars are one of my favorite things in the world. Little known fact about me, at least to this audience, you all know Dragon Ball means the world. I love Dragon Ball. It gets me fucking out of bed in the morning, whatever. Another thing that does that for me, harmonized guitar lines, dude. I'm a sucker for that shit. Even if it's straight thirds, I don't give a shit. So this version of this song, for me as somebody who likes that kind of guitar playing, hits the goddamn spot every single time. However, when I grew up and I got access to high-speed internet, obviously the first thing I did was try to see if there were more Animetal albums out there. This song was actually not on the Animetal Marathon album that I know like the back of my hand. Like their first album, I can hum through the whole freaking thing. They've done like probably well over a dozen of them. It turned out to be a pretty popular concept, and I guess, you know, they still tour, they still play, they still make these albums. You can find them all over Spotify. It's a little tough to search for specific tunes because, I mean, unless you know how to type in Japanese, I guess. But you can find them if you look up Animetal on Spotify. Proved to be a really popular concept, right? Cool. This is where I get a little disappointed with the world. I guess this is kind of me starting to get ready to land the plane on this episode, this weird episode we're doing. But when I grew up and I searched for more Animetal, I came across this thing called Animetal USA. I was like, what the fuck is that? Did Animetal do a tour across the USA and I missed it? That sucks. Like, these motherfuckers, like, dress up like Kiss and shit. Like, they put on crazy makeup and outfits. Like, it's full on, like, a metal Habuki fucking show. You know what I mean? Like, I maybe Habuki is the wrong word to say. Like, it almost sounds racist when I say it like that. But what I'm thinking of when I say that is the kind of theatrics that David Lee Roth would put on at a Van Halen show with, like, the crazy masks and the fire and the blood and same shit that Kiss does. Like, that's the kind of show Animetal would put on. So when I came across this Animetal USA, I was like, oh man, I missed Animetal. They came to the States. That sucks. Let me check out what this is. And it wasn't Animetal. It was a bunch of white dudes who went to Japan. Because, you know, Japan loves heavy metal. That's a well-known fact. Bunch of white dudes who couldn't hack it here in America playing heavy metal, I guess, or like couldn't, you know, catch the breaks that they needed to get signed or be in a successful band or whatever. So they went to Japan and they, I guess, saw this format of what Animetal was doing. They were like, it's metal, I guess, but like, we're more metal, bro. We're from America, USA, represent Animetal USA. They literally just stole the goddamn name of the band, slapped USA on the back, and did basically the exact same fucking thing. I guess imperialism runs deep in the veins of Americans as well, not only within the politicians in our government. I will fucking stop. So, point is, I gotta show it to you guys now. Okay, it's not bad, but you stole the idea, and so fuck you. Okay, and also, it's more metal than it's got to be, okay? I just like crazy speed metal. I don't even need all the double bass and the whoa. You'll see what I mean. Go ahead. I wish you guys could hear the face I'm making as I'm listening to this. So I'm sure that there's people out there who just heard that and they were like, yo, that version is way more preferable than the metal version you played a moment ago. And you know what? That's fine, dude. I get why people would like the more metal version over the other. It just drives me fucking bananas. And you know what? Actually, I think I just figured out what this is about. Yep, I did. I don't know. I think it's more, it's kind of like how I feel about people who cover Dragon Ball on their podcast, but they don't like, or like even know Dragon Ball. They just do it because they know that it's a popular thing to do. I think that's how I'm feeling about Animetal USA. I'm not sure. I definitely felt this way about Animetal USA before I ever started Dragon Ball Super Dope. So maybe Animetal USA, I'm taking out my feelings on them or I'm taking out my feelings about them on these other podcasts who talk about Dragon Ball when they don't really know or don't really care. That's it. They probably don't really care. As where I'm over here, like, I love Dragon Ball. I'll talk about it all the time. I have a problem. You know what I mean? I'm just like, get the fuck out of here, you fake motherfuckers. Animetal, the OG from Japan, like, they grew up in that anime culture in the 60s, 70s. Like, they play a lot of old anime songs from, like, the 70s and 80s and things like that. Like, stuff my dad grew up with. So I was exposed to that music very young. A lot of stuff that Shinsuke Kikuchi actually was the composer for, coincidentally. So for them to have grown up in that culture and deciding to dedicate an entire band to that and being like, let's play all the fucking theme songs of our favorite childhood cartoons versus some D-list metal guitar players from America who moved to Japan because they're not successful here. I think they've got a better shot in Japan. See what Animetal is being successful with and decide to just slap a USA on the end of it and say it's a new thing. And I hate that shit, man. I fucking hate that shit. And I don't know, me and Rayshawn talk a lot about, you know, general anime, because it's always like Rayshawn's like, let's do this anime. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I'm like, bro, I don't have much to bring to that. I don't have anything to really say about that. I've talked about it on this show a million times as well. Dragon Ball is a thing that I can and will and have a lot of thoughts on. Other stuff, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to go watch 24 episodes of Demon Slayer so I can talk about it for an hour and struggle to get through that hour because I don't have anything substantive to say. My point is, if you don't have a take on something, an original take on something, anime podcast, cover band, whatever it is you're doing, maybe just like reconsider if you're the person to do that. You know what I mean? I feel like that was a pretty convoluted way to say the Animetal USA. Suck my dick. But I figure, I mean, this has been kind of a fun episode. I feel very rambly, and it's hopefully I can edit some of this ramble stuff out. We'll see how long this episode turns out. But thank you for listening. I haven't sat down to record anything for Super Dope in a while. I've been super busy, but also like these are tough to do when there's not much to talk about. But this episode, I think, is a good format to maybe do some of the other opening songs in the future. You know, I guess if we're going to do all of the opening songs, we have to do them in order, right? So as like a little preview or whatever, and also as a way to wash Animetal USA out of my motherfucking mouth, because I hate those guys and their stupid pick squeals and their over the top double bass and their 3-part fucking harmonies on a line that don't need a 3-part harmony that's actually being done by a fucking vocal processor. You know what I mean? Like, let's get that shit taste out of our mouth with some real Animetal and a little preview on our next opening song episode that we'll be doing at some point in the future. We'll see when, but you know, until then. Oh, still here? That shit was metal, huh? Yeah, I knew you'd like that shit. I can't wait to do a whole episode about Shala Head Shala. Hey, listen, if you wanted this episode early, you could have gotten it if you remember the Patreon. I'll say it for a third time. I don't give a shit. Patreon.com/DragonBallSuperDope. Go support us so we can continue to make all this quality content. I don't know if this episode was quality or not. This was an experiment today. If you enjoyed it, let me know. I'm curious to hear. Maybe it was a shitty episode. If that's the case, let me know that too. Reviews on Apple Podcasts are the best thing you can do for a podcaster. Just leave a 5-star one with your constructive feedback, okay? Because this is Dragon Ball Super Dope. Constructive feedback each every time. I'm like that fucking Funimation dub trying to fit in too many syllables constantly. Like that's literally the theme of my life. Just gotta fit in all these words, but only so many beats to do the words in. Not the words are going out of meter, and the song now sucks. Actually, that song didn't end that bad. I saved it. You're welcome. Super Dope.